Good morning, everyone. Virgo Triad here. It is May 23rd, 2018. I hope everybody's having a great week. I just wanted to do a quick report here on some information that came out this morning with regards to an article on a gentleman by the name of Bruce Duchette. Now, interestingly enough, it seems that we have a run-on of gurus that are associated with two specific people, one being Miss April Lejeune, and the second being Anna von Reitz. And it seems that those people that have followed this individual, one being Miss Anna von Reitz, seem to be having a run-on of going to prison lately. Mr. Bruce Duchette was just sentenced to 38 years in prison, and he was a stern follower of Miss Anna von Reitz. And in addition to that, of course, we know that Miss April Lejeune is a stern follower of Anna von Reitz. Now, Anna von Reitz, for those of you that don't know, considers herself to be a self-proclaimed, meaning she named herself a judge, that we have done a massive amount of research on, and we have contacted many places to try to find out whether she has any real valid if there's any real valid truth in the fact that she is any form of a judge. It has always turned out to be null and void. Unfortunately, although my subscribers have asked many questions of Miss Von Reitz as of 2 weeks ago, we have not heard anything back from her. What's up, Anna? Why is it that we're not getting any response to the questions that the subscribers had in order to check out your story and kind of clear your name there with regards to why you consider yourself to be a judge? Now, if you take a look over here, you will see that there are 9,350 results that show up with regards to Anna von Reitz and the association with Bruce Duchette. And what happens quite frequently, and we saw recently with Anna von Reitz, she tries to distance herself from anybody who seems to be having any problems or getting some negative publicity. We saw her do it with April Lejeune, and we are now seeing her do it, we're seeing that she did it with Bruce Duchette. My guess is that this started happening right around the time frame that Mr. Duchette was actually indicted. And you can take a look for yourself and you will see that there is a massive amount of information that you can look up with regards to their association together. Once again, let me take you over to this article here from Westward. It's Sovereign Judge, and this is self-proclaimed judge, of course, Bruce Duchette, sentenced to 38 years in prison. One of the most notable figures in America, proselytizing and exercising sovereign ideology, Bruce Duchette was sentenced to 38 years in Colorado State Prison on Tuesday, May 22nd, so just yesterday. Duchette, who owned a computer repair shop in Littleton, had declared himself a judge despite not being recognized by any U.S. judicial system, and was one of the leading actors in the extra-legal organization calling itself People's Grand Jury of Colorado. On March 9th, a jury in Denver found Duchette guilty of 34 felony charges stemming from actions that Duchette described as an attempt to root out corruption in American government as its various levels, federal, state, and local. There are also related stories that you can take a look at here. I will link this in the description as always, with regards to other sovereigns that are being charged with paper terrorism, and more information with regards to Bruce Duchette and him being found guilty. This article is actually rather funny. It goes into some of the things that occurred in the courtroom. I'm not going to read the entire thing, as I do not want to cause a problem in terms of copyright infringement on this writer. He did a very good job writing this article. I would encourage you to take a look at it. Now, what I do want to say is that we have a situation where specifically certain states where there seems to be a massive amount of these individuals that are calling themselves law enforcement officials that really aren't recognized by the state or that they're in, let alone, federally recognized. I also want to point out here that paper terrorism. What is paper terrorism? A lot of people scoff at that statement, but the truth is paper terrorism really starts where we're talking about sending in anything to a court or to the IRS or to any government agency that is considered frivolous in nature. Frivolous and erroneous is what the IRS calls it. So we are talking about everything from sending in a frivolous tax refund with documentation such as a falsified 1099 OID to attempt to try to get an account, a bond that does not belong to you turned over to you. That is bond fraud. The 1099 OID is, of course, a frivolous and erroneous filing in which at that point the IRS will then, of course, start assessing fees. If you do too many things at once or too many over and over again, they will then begin to look at actual federal indictments. A4V, accepted for value, is another frivolous, erroneous argument or tax filing that is being promoted, of course, by Miss April Lejeune. In the past was promoted by Anna von Reitz, but since that time frame, Anna has backed off of that and made claims that, oh no, that's just for government employees. In reality, A4V has never worked for anybody, does not work. It is not something that is recognized. The IRS will not take care of it for you as you have been told. And the packages that you guys are purchasing are simply going to end up getting you in legal trouble with lots of fees and fines. At best, at worst, could find you landed in jail. Paper terrorism also extends out further into the area of people who are filing liens falsely against government officials for not doing what they want them to do. So, for example, a police officer that pulls you over, you don't want to give your ID. That is illegal in all of the 50 states. You are required to show identification if a law enforcement officer asks you. No matter what these gurus tell you, that is a statute, it is a code, and those statutes and codes are laws. If you don't provide them with identification that they can verify, they can legally arrest you. What these people will do is they will file lawsuits for thousands and thousands of dollars against these individuals and attempt to try to collect on them, through the court system. Although it does not work, it's not recognized by the courts, it's not really something that they should be able to do in any way, shape, or form. Sometimes that information will be transferred on to a credit bureau, and it can take a lot of effort on the behalf of the party that was falsely accused to get that off of their credit report, and of course that affects them personally and their family life and their living status. This is considered paper terrorism. There's more than that goes along with this. You've heard of the sovereigns that actually will squat in a property and then file a false lien against the property with the Secretary of State. In that case, it's squatting rights in a lot of states will take over. And of course, that is considered paper terrorism because it isn't something that is real. They're using the court system and the IRS in order to bog it up to attempt to try to cause problems. They call themselves, like Bruce Duchette so eloquently put, trying to out the government and all of the things that he feels are not valid in the government, that it's fraud, that whatever your problem is in terms of the government, and this is just a personal opinion here, you cannot fight fraud with fraud and expect to win. You're going to go down every time. So if you are claiming that you are doing all of this, getting 38 years in prison so that it wakes people up, all it's waking people up to seeing is that you were an idiot, that you listened to people that you should not have listened to, that you listened to scam artists. If you have a legitimate argument with any government entity, I have a few and most people do, then you change it in the manner that was put in place for us to change it, which means we have to fight it legally and we have to use the rules and regulations in order to do so that we can actually get somewhere with it and it sticks. Otherwise, you have situations where people are just running willy-nilly and it really does not do anything to assist in whatever their fight might be. So, I'm just making a statement here think twice before doing something silly, especially if there's a disclaimer on something that you're purchasing stating that you better talk to an attorney before you purchase it, such as there is on Miss April Lejeune's packages. Anna von Reitz has done multitudes of paperwork that people have used in the past, and many of these people are seeing really hard time in prison, some of them lifetime sentences, which basically is what is happening here with Mr. Duchette. And the reason why? He's 57 years old. 38 years in prison is what he has been sentenced to. It's just not a good thing. Try to think, people, honestly. Look at all of the gurus that are actually coming out of the woodwork and getting indicted and going to prison for, years and years and years. You can keep chasing that golden carrot, but I promise you, it's not there. Stop listening to people like April Lejeune and Anna von Reitz and other gurus that are telling you that you have a bonded birth certificate. You don't. You don't have this special account, secret account that you have been told that you do. It's a scam. It's been a scam for 40 years. It will continue to be a scam. And until we rise up as a group of individuals that are not willing to be scammed any longer by these redemption theory lies that were made up in order to put in place paper terrorism into the court systems and clog things up, it's not the way to do it. So please, think before you act. Everybody have a great day, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.